I'm here today to talk to you about the power of original. The original Bitcoin, which is also the original global public blockchain. We're here today at Chain Plus to talk about the power of blockchain technology to be transformative for enterprise usage by the biggest businesses of the world. But at this conference, I've actually heard very little about the original blockchain, Bitcoin. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Because it's been 10 years since the birth of Bitcoin, which came to the world through the publication of this, the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper. And just a few weeks ago, we witnessed the 10-year anniversary of the Genesis block, which began the world's first public blockchain. That blockchain is here, and it has taught us over the past 10 years some of the power of doing technology on a public as opposed to a permissioned blockchain or distributed ledger technology. Those advantages we've learned over the past 10 years are the power of a decentralized protocol, consensus protocol with no central authority or trust, data that is permanent and immutable once recorded to the blockchain, transparency, and this is key. If it's a public blockchain, the data on it is verifiable and auditable, opening up all new business models for private enterprise and ways of conducting business for government entities. It's secure because of its high-grade cryptography, and it's robust because it's distributed across a wide array of geographic areas and many, many nodes. But if we're honest, if you looked at the history of Bitcoin, you realize that Bitcoin has yet to grow up to achieve its full potential as the global public blockchain of the future. And that's because developer groups that took control of the Bitcoin projects that have come before, Bitcoin Core and then Bitcoin Cash, have started making significant changes to the original Bitcoin vision, design, and protocol, and veered away from the beginnings of Bitcoin and its true path. And that's why this past November, we and our partners at CoinGeek and other allies had to fight to control the future of Bitcoin. And by control, I don't mean us dictating it. It's by going back to the original Bitcoin vision, now reborn in the form of Bitcoin SV, Satoshi Vision, that emerged after the contentious November 2018 hard fork of the Bitcoin Cash network. We believe Bitcoin SV is the all-in-one coin and will be the global public ledger of the future that all enterprises should build on and be the dominant one. Just like we work on one public internet, we believe there should be one global public blockchain, and that's going to be Bitcoin SV. Let me tell you about why Bitcoin SV is the only version of Bitcoin which adheres to the Satoshi white paper, the Satoshi protocol, and the Satoshi vision, and why we have a stable protocol roadmap and a scaling vision for massive on-chain scaling to make this the enterprise blockchain. To understand why this journey has been so important, take a look at this. This is a visual diagram of the history of the Bitcoin blockchain. It started in the beginning in 2009 and 2010, and then it continued with Bitcoin Core taking over its development path, which seemed fine until Bitcoin Core made significant changes to the Bitcoin vision, keeping the block cap stuck at 1 megabyte in size, which is very small, and instead pursuing off-chain scaling solutions such as layer 2 Lightning Network attempts. And then most egregiously in 2017, adding segregated witness, which fundamentally changed what Bitcoin was and no longer made it the definition in the white paper, which is a chain of digital signatures. That led to the August 2017 birth of Bitcoin Cash, supported heavily in China, which we thought at the time was going to restore the original vision of Bitcoin, and we supported it as peer-to-peer electronic cash. But then again, the lead developer groups for Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin ABC, after working with them, we discovered they wanted to make even more fundamental changes to the Bitcoin protocol. Things such as changing the transaction ordering, adding new operating codes that were not in the Satoshi design, and in fact, introducing the concept that will come soon for them, Avalanche, a pre-consensus model, which will start moving Bitcoin Cash more to proof of stake and abandoning the core proof-of-work principle of Bitcoin. And that's what led to the ABC chain going a different direction, and why we fought with Bitcoin SV to preserve and defend that original vision of Bitcoin. So let me tell you why we're preserving it and what are the key ingredients to this roadmap. First, a stable platform. Satoshi Nakamoto wrote far back in 2010, early in the life of Bitcoin, the nature of Bitcoin is such that once version 0.1 was released, the core design was set in stone for the rest of its lifetime. I want to repeat that. The core design was set in stone for the rest of its lifetime. That's because Satoshi believed that everything that was in the original Bitcoin client software, version 0.1, had everything Bitcoin needed to excel and succeed into the global public blockchain. That's important for big businesses, because if you're a big enterprise and you want to build a blockchain application on a platform, you need that protocol to be solid rock, not moving sand, in order to spend your money, your time, and your resources to build applications on it. And that's been the problem with the Bitcoin journey. Bitcoin Core wanted to make changes, such as introducing SegWit. Bitcoin Cash's development teams wanted to change things and continue to change things in the protocol. That doesn't give a stable protocol like we have, for example, with the internet, which has been very stable with its IP protocol over its last several decades. That's what we need and what we're committed to with Bitcoin SV. The plan is very simple. Restore Satoshi version 0.1, the client software. Restore the original Satoshi opcodes, remove remaining limits that were imposed by Bitcoin Core, and then stop experimenting. No more unnecessary changes to the Bitcoin protocol. That will create more certainty for everyone in the industry, enterprises, app developers, miners, merchants. Those codes that are already in there with Bitcoin, those opcodes, already have the capability to do what everyone else wants to do on other blockchain projects. Tokenization is already possible on Bitcoin SV. The power to do smart contracts is already possible. We believe you build on top of the protocol, you don't change the protocol. You do things in script, you let creative developers build new applications and tools on top of a protocol that does not change. We also are very focused on scalability. We know to be the enterprise blockchain, you need capacity for transactions that are in the hundreds of millions, if not billions per day. And we're really focused on that because Satoshi believed that in the original design. In 2009, at the very beginning of Bitcoin, Satoshi wrote, the existing Visa credit card network processes about 15 million internet purchases per day worldwide. Bitcoin can already scale much larger than that with existing hardware for a fraction of the cost. It never really hits a scale ceiling. In 2009, Satoshi knew that. Bitcoin never really hits a scale ceiling. Yet that's not what happened with the Bitcoin journey. Bitcoin Core kept the block size stuck at 1 megabyte in size. That's too small. And even Bitcoin Cash, when it emerged, raised it to 32 megabytes, but has not been aggressive enough at pushing the scaling boundaries. Instead, when we birthed Bitcoin SV, we raised the default block cap to 128 megabytes in size, significantly larger. But that's just a first step. Later this year, we want to raise it to 512 megabytes in size. And then within a year or so, 1 to 2 gigabytes in size. And one day, have no limit. That's what Satoshi envisioned. Remember, it never hits a scale ceiling. Let the miners configure for themselves what block sizes they want to accept and create new competitive fee marketplaces among miners. We know there's technical work that must be done to create a network that can sustain such large blocks. Through professional stress testing that we've done in a collaboration with partners, we've seen the world's biggest ever blocks mined on a public blockchain. 38 megabytes and 64 megabyte blocks mined on November 19th of last year, right after the hard fork. On Christmas Day this past December, a 65 megabyte block was mined by Mempool, a pool based in China. And then on January 3rd, the 10-year anniversary of the Genesis block, they mined a 103 megabyte block. We know this is just the beginning, that one day we're going to look back and these things are going to seem small. We believe in a day of gigabyte-sized blocks to rival transaction capacity of MasterCard, Visa, and all the global payment networks. And our team is working on a Teranode project to create microservices architecture so that enterprises can run nodes that power terabyte-sized blocks in the future, not just gigabyte, 1,000 megabytes, but terabyte, 1 million megabyte blocks, which we believe are possible, which would enable every 10 minutes 4 billion, with a B, Bitcoin transactions and provide capacity of 7 million transactions a second. That's a bold claim, and we're working towards it. If we achieve a network of this size and capacity, what that means is that Bitcoin becomes not just a payment system, it becomes the global public ledger of the future that will power all kinds of data and other transactions. The enterprises will use it as they use many things on the internet, but it'll just be invisible to the consumer. We're also focused on being secure. We know that enterprises will only use a blockchain that has security, and the other attempts at bigger scale blockchains have faced many security hurdles. We've seen them. What are we doing? Well, our team is doing things that have never been done before in the history of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin SV software will be the first ever that we know of fully security audited Bitcoin node implementation in the history of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Why is that? It's because it's time consuming and it's expensive. With our partners at CoinGeek, they have funded hiring Trail of Bits, which is a top tier security audit firm in the United States, which is security auditing the Bitcoin SV code and providing testing and improvements to our quality assurance process. Trail of Bits is very well recognized with prior security engagements in the blockchain and crypto space, such as Versailles, RSK, and LivePeer. We're also helping Bitcoin grow up and professionalize its engineering and development process. That includes introducing a world-class bug bounty program. This is what the big tech companies, Google and Microsoft, do. They offer rewards to the world's best security researchers to find bugs and responsibly disclose them so that we can fix them earlier. Our team's offering up to $100,000 for the most secure, critical security bugs, which are payable, of course, in BSV. This is all leading to a world of enterprise applications, which we built on Bitcoin SV, the original. I want to give you a quick taste of what's possible already. You can already tokenize any kind of assets, reward points, movie, music files, intellectual property assets, copyrights and trademarks, information, contracts, property title. And tokenization has already come because CoinGeek with us ran last year a £5 million tokenization contest to find the best token solution. The winning team is called Tokenized, and you can find their protocol at www.tokenize.cash. It has a protocol to allow any business to issue, manage, and trade tokens, and it's exclusively available on the Bitcoin SV network. It does it through smart contracts or static contracts done with Bitcoin SV transactions. And interestingly, they support many asset types, not just your typical ICO, but approximately 50 asset types for shares, common and preferred stock, bonds, derivatives, hybrid securities, but also utility tokens such as coupons, currency tethers, tickets for transportation, airplanes, buses, trains, concerts and events, and even carbon credits in the energy space. But the thing that impressed our team most about this solution wasn't just its technical capabilities. It's because it was built for real-world law compliance. We know businesses have to create tokens that comply with securities, money, and contract law all over the world. And this team built into its protocol easy ways for a business to use the protocol to comply with the laws of their jurisdiction, wherever they are. And that is key. Unlike other people in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, we know for Bitcoin to grow, we must live in the real world and comply with real laws that come to us. Handcash is one of our great friends out in Spain. They're most known for one of the top cryptocurrency wallets in the world because it uses NFC technology, so I could take my phone, put it next to yours, and immediately transmit Bitcoin SV to you. They only operate on Bitcoin SV, and they've launched business enterprise applications as well, such as Cashport. It's an API that makes it very easy for any business to instantly integrate BSV micropayments for your apps and games. And it will process the payments using their wallet technology and do it really easy. They have a friendly SDK that operates with all of the major operating systems, Apple, Android, makes it really easy to integrate. That opens up new business models, such as paying for videos per second rather than the whole video, rewarding interactions with social media, for example. Every time you share or like an image, maybe there's a microtransaction and payment that's exchanged. behavior-based payments, and one-click purchases. The first company to use Cashboard is Keyport. It's a startup in India where you have the video sharing site, much like YouTube, but instead of watching ads, creators of videos can get paid with micropayments. So for example, if I had $2 in my account, my wallet with Bitcoin, I could pay through Cashboard a video creator a cent a minute to watch the video, and it will automatically split a quarter of that to the service. It opens up a new way of paying for video content that any major enterprise can actually install and work with today. This is just a taste of what's to come with Bitcoin SV. We're just getting started to build, but that started by going back to the original. It's the mission we had when we fought for Bitcoin SV. It wasn't just about a name or a ticker symbol. It was about defending and preserving the original vision of Bitcoin, keeping the protocol stable, just as Satoshi intended, believing in the power of massive scaling to gigabyte and terabyte-sized blocks to open a world that is secure for the global public ledger of the future, to process all kinds of microtransactions, all kinds of data transactions, in a way that is public, verifiable, transparent, and auditable, the true power of a global public blockchain. And it all begins and ends with Bitcoin, the original.